guys. I hope you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Hey Vishali, please call me Ritu. Great. So good evening and welcome to this live session on Instagram. My name is Ritu and I am the founder of Ease India Travel. We are a boutique, a niche travel company based out of Pune in Maharashtra, and we offer highly personalized and customized holidays to very select destinations. One of the biggest ethos of our company is that we don't offer holidays to places that me being the person who travels the most in the company has not discovered for herself, which means that we bring a very personal experience on board to all our clients and in the itineraries that we offer, which could include activities that sometimes you cannot find on the internet as well. So that's that's an introduction, brief introduction to the company. Now a brief introduction to the live session that we're having today. It's a very interesting topic and I wanted to take this up because World Heritage Day is around the corner, and a lot of people don't know that there are a lot of World Heritage sites which have been identified and called World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. And we have about 42 sites in India, and the list is quite interesting to look at. Of course, UNESCO has a very elaborate criteria based on which they designate a place as being of historical, archaeological value to the place, and therefore it would come under the World Heritage Site umbrella. But it's very interesting to know that these the World Heritage Sites are just not archaeological wonders. They could also be natural wonders, not just man-made structures, but also structures that are naturally occurring. So I wanted to give an overview of 5 such sites in India, and perhaps in the coming week we will do a session on 5 sites across the world. But for now I wanted to share some insights on these 5 sites in India, which I find are very unique, and they have a space under the World Heritage umbrella. So the first site that I want to talk about is the Valley of Flowers. Now the Valley of Flowers is located in Uttarakhand, and a lot of young people here would associate the Valley of Flowers with a very arduous trek that you have to undertake before you can reach the Valley of Flowers, the exact Valley of Flowers. But a lot of people do not know that the Valley of Flowers is actually very, very famous, and it was popularized by the British because of the number of medicinal plants available in that small patch of land on this mountaintop. And it has been preserved by the Indian governments thereafter, and eventually it found its place in the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. So the Valley of Flowers is very famous for having these extremely rare medicinal plants from that you will not find anywhere else, of being a space where the Himalayan biosphere has been preserved, and also of being this adventurous attraction for people to hike up to the Valley of Flowers. So it is stunningly beautiful, and these flowers and these medicinal plants, they bloom right after the rains and actually in between the rains. So the best time to visit this place is between July to August end, and maybe a bit of September based on how the weather's been that year in Uttarakhand. It's a feast for sore eyes. When you hike up and you go see the valley, till as far as your eyes can go, there will be flowers, and there will be tons and tons of medicinal plants. There are guides who will explain the significance of these plants to you. Some of the plants are used to cure fractures, all kinds of skin conditions, and what have you, diarrhea and whatever. The locals in the area are very well versed with the botanical wealth of the space, and it's the first location that I chose to talk about because of its stunning beauty. The second place that I want to talk about is which is part of the World Heritage site group of sites, is Hampi, and the group of monuments at Hampi. Now, Hampi is what is called the City of Ruins in India. It is spread across 26 square kilometers, and it has ruins from the empire of the Vijayanagar dynasty. About 600 years old. The entire city, so the city of Hampi was the capital of the Vijayanagar Empire, which actually spread from Karnataka, the modern day Karnataka, all the way to Andhra. And one of the most famous kings that we have read in our history books was Krishna Deva Raya. Although the Vijayanagar Empire found just one paragraph space in our history books, when you actually go to Hampi, you will be astounded by the scale of the buildings that were constructed by him and his predecessors and his forefathers. It's a beautiful piece of Indian history and heritage. Some of the carvings are extremely intricate. They have, they even have musical pillars there, which now, of course, visitors are not allowed to touch or feel because they have been, since it's a 600-year-old site, all the original architecture is very delicate and it has to be maintained. In this 26 square kilometers, there are several temples dedicated to deities from Krishna to Lord Ganapati. There is a Narsimha, idol there. There is a Shivalinga there, and there are also these beautiful hills from where you can go in the evenings and see some spectacular sunsets, as well as get an overview of the whole Hampi city. And Hampi has found its place in the UNESCO World Heritage Sites because of its historical and archaeological significance for this region. Hampi also has, Hampi is the name of the old city, the capital city. But the closest town that you can visit now is called Hospet, and the city closest to Hampi really is Kamlapur. So there is an archaeological museum in Kamlapur, which is, I'm afraid, not very well kept, but it has all the treasures that they've excavated from Hampi, from all the sites, and it's definitely worth a visit. And there you realize that the language that they spoke in that 600 years ago was very close to modern day Telugu, and the script is also very close to modern day Telugu. So it also gives you an insight on the evolution of languages. And so Hampi is actually one of my favorite places to visit. I think not just for its archaeological importance, but also for us to feel a sense of pride in our culture and history. To know that 600 years ago we were capable of building such massive cities and such massive buildings with such intricate carvings and such planning. Hampi is also famous for Kishkinda, which is the birthplace of Lord Hanuman. And although Kishkinda is not part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's also worthy of a visit. Hiking up to Kishkinda or the Anjanadri Hill is about 575 steps in all, and you get some really beautiful sunrise views from there. It's very close to the Hampi ruins. Like I said, the Hampi ruin sites are spread over 26 square kilometers, and excavations are still on, and they are still discovering more and more buildings, more and more temples, more and more living quarters and what have yous that were constructed by the during the Vijayanagar Empire. Just a small slice of history: the Vijayanagar Empire met its downfall at the hands of the Mughals, and the entire city was burnt down and plundered, and that ended the Vijayanagar Empire. The third site that I have chosen from amongst the Indian sites is a surprise. So, like I said, while we think of heritage and archaeological sites in India, we would think of like Hampi, or we would think of the Konark Temple in Odisha, which is also a UNESCO heritage site. But the historic city of Ahmedabad is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now, the historical city of Ahmedabad was also built in about 1600 sometime, and the remnants of the old buildings are still present in the old city. Ahmedabad has some really lovely tour guides that you can hire and take an early morning walking tour of the old city, which is absolutely stunning. You get to see some Jain temples, you get to see extremely old buildings that are still being habited by people are still living there. You'll get to see rainwater harvesting that was followed at that time, and the cobbled streets, the bridges of yore, and it's really an eye-opener. So, like we know, and we somewhere expect that parts of Delhi would be, part of this entire historical heritage of India. It is surprising for many people to know that so is Ahmedabad. And these walking tours are usually conducted early in the mornings before the crowds in the old city begins. And it takes about 2 hours to complete the tour, and the tour ends at one of the grandest mosques in the old city. So if you have a trip planned to Ahmedabad, you should definitely try and look up a guide who can take you on this kind of a heritage tour of the old Ahmedabad walled city. So it was a walled city, and also a great treat for photographers if that's your thing. The fourth site that I chose is another national park. Like I said, that the UNESCO World Heritage Sites are not just about the archaeological heritage of India, but they also include the natural heritage, the natural, biospheres, the national parks, and this one is located in Sikkim. So it's called the Kanchenjunga National Park. Of course, it's spelled in a different way. It is spelled the way the Sikkimese people call Kanchenjunga. And this national park is also, very famous for its, protected biosphere. It's also very famous for some very, very tough and adventurous hikes in this part of the Himalayas, especially the Gochala Trek. So the Gochala Trek begins from the Kanchenjunga National Park. The most striking thing about this national park is that the elevation within the national park starts at 1700 and goes up to 8500 meters above sea level. So you can understand the range, the way the elevation goes inside this national park. To the people of Sikkim, this national park has a lot of sacred and spiritual significance as well. In Buddhism, they worship nature, they worship all elements of nature, and therefore the Sikkimese Buddhists, they worship the mountains inside the national park, and there are only a few that you can scale and the others you're not allowed to scale. Um, the fifth site that I have chosen is again in Gujarat, and I wanted to specifically talk about this site because this site is dates back to the Indus Valley civilization. So we've spoken about sites from the 1600s, maybe 1700s. We've spoken about the Valley of Flowers and the Kanchenjunga National Park, which have been there for millennia. But Dholavira, the Harappan city in the Kutch region of Gujarat, is part of the Indus Valley civilization. And I had I would say the privilege of having visited Dholavira in 1997 when it was still under excavation. And I don't know how much you'd remember from your history books, but I could jog your memory and talk about, how the Indus Valley civilization cities were constructed in a step manner, and they had an underground drainage system. They had a waterway system, and all of these civilizations flourished beside the Indus Valley, as we all know, in the Indus River. And eventually, they perished because of floods, and some say drought, we don't know. Some say because of earthquake, the Sindhu Nadi or the Indus Nadi changed its course, and then these people had to abandon these villages. Some of the artifacts that you see here are mind-boggling, because if you consider that they are over 5,000 years old, they have pottery, they have jewelry, and as I said, they had underground drainage system, they had a waterway system, and it is really spectacular to go and see this. The most famous Indus Valley civilization site in our subcontinent is, of course, Mohenjo-daro, which is currently in Pakistan. And if you can't go and see that, then the second best alternative for us is to go see this Harappan civilization site called Dholavira, and it is located in Gujarat. You have to take a flight to Bhuj, and from there you can drive down to Dholavira. I've been given to understand that now the Gujarat tourism has several places to stay inside the Dholavira village, and you can hire day guides, and you can go have a look at the entire city and marvel at what our civilization was over 5,000 years ago. So these are the 5 Indian sites that I wanted to speak about today. If there are any questions, I will take them. Meanwhile, for everyone who has just joined, I'd like to introduce myself again. My name is Ritu. I am the founder of East India Travel. We are based out of Pune in Maharashtra, and we are a bespoke travel agency. We organize highly customized and personalized holidays in very select destinations. The criteria being that those destinations have been visited by me, uncovered by me layer by layer over several visits, and only then I start marketing holidays to them. So the itineraries we offer you are sometimes very distinct, sometimes may even have activities or insights you will not find on the internet. So if you have any requirements, do hit us up via direct message. And if there are any questions regarding the World Heritage Sites that I spoke about just now, please, by all means, you can send in your messages on the chat. Also, just wanted to add that when UNESCO identifies a site, they also provide funding for its maintenance. So you will find that most of these UNESCO World Heritage Sites are very, very well maintained because of the funding they get. For example, I can tell you that in 1995, I had visited the Konark Temple, the Sun Temple in Odisha, and it was in a very bad shape back then. And then it was taken over by UNESCO, and I visited it as recently as about a year ago, and things have really changed. Now they have very well manicured gardens, they have proper pathways, they have a museum attached to the site. So definitely UNESCO brings on board all the trappings of protection, and the idea is to protect these sites. Be Happy 9000. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I have been able to tell you about something that you didn't know. Of course, India has 42 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So you can go to their website and have a look, and maybe you can plan your trips, your holidays, based on where these sites are. International Heritage Tours. Okay, so Priya, okay. So Priya, as of now, internationally, we are only hosting tours to Azerbaijan, to Sri Lanka, and to Bhutan, Bahrain as well. And other than Bhutan, almost all the other countries have spectacular UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So massive opportunities for heritage tours in these destinations. Bahrain is a surprise package, which I will talk about in the next session that we conduct, because we did not know that Bahrain has an extremely ancient civilization called the Dilmun civilization, which had connections to India over 10,000 years ago, and to the Indus Valley civilization. Do you have tours combining the heritage locations and other activities? Yes, we do, Rupak. So we do. So what we do is, we do organize holidays to, say, for example, Odisha, and we do the Konark temple. We can do Puri. We do a heritage palace stay. So yes, we do try and combine these for people who are interested in visiting these sites. Of course, we do, in our company, we have a guided tours section, which is, you can hire a day guide to explore a city. And while there aren't very many World Heritage Sites in Kolkata, except for Shanti Niketan, but there is a treasure trove of heritage and culture and history in Kolkata that very few people know about, exactly the way there is in Ahmedabad or Ahmedabad. So, we do that. We also organize day guides to help people explore these particular cities and the heritage aspects of these cities, heritage parts of these cities. So, I guess another 6 minutes and we'll wrap up, because, we don't want to make the lives too long. I think 30 minutes are pretty much good enough. What else can I share with you? Yes, a very interesting thing that I came across today was that governments can apply to get the sites in their country recognized under UNESCO World Heritage Site. And if you see the pending list from India, some of them are really old, like it dates back to 1998. Someone's applied in 1998 and it still hasn't been accepted. And one of the sites which is very close to me, which has not been accepted yet, and I do hope and pray that somehow it gets accepted in the near future, is the old city of Cochin, Kerala, which is called Mattancherry. And that is where I belong to. I come from Kerala, from Kochi, and I lived in Mattancherry my entire childhood. So I hope they accept it. Pune Best Living City, are professional photography or videography allowed at the heritage location? Yes. Yes, you can. In fact, at Odisha Konark temple, I saw people even doing wedding photography, pre-wedding photography. So yes, it's allowed. You need to take permissions for an organized event such as like this pre-wedding photography. But yes, you can carry your camera. You have to just pay the camera fees. Yes, rest Trishali, we offer guides in these tours. Because there is no point visiting these sites without a guide, because you will not understand or remember anything of their history. And it's very enticing the way the guides explain things to you, because they are licensed by the government of India. They study the sites, they write an exam, and they have in-depth knowledge about the whole the site that you are visiting. So taking a guide is highly recommended, and we do organize guides. So I guess for the interest of our friends who have joined in from Maharashtra as well, so the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus, which was called the Victoria terminus in Mumbai, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And if I can read out maybe one or two sites which may also strike a chord with people. Of course, we know that Taj Mahal is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but in Maharashtra, Elephanta Caves, Ajanta Caves, Ellora Caves, they are all part of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Which tours would you advise this summer? So summer, we all need to head to the Himalayas because the plains are going to be wildly hot. So I would suggest Sikkim, Uttarakhand, and of course there are no sites actually from Kashmir in the World Heritage Site list, but yes, Kashmir is really hot and happening right now from a touristy perspective. Yes, the other site which is also part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and unfortunately it cannot be seen on their website, but is Khas Plateau, which is near Satara, very famous as the valley, as a plateau of flowers rather, for us in Maharashtra, and definitely worth seeing in the monsoons post September, between August end and September mid. So if you want to see our very own area full of flowers, then Khas Pathar is for you. So thank you so much everybody for joining. We will have another session very soon, perhaps next week at the same time, where I will talk about some of the most exciting sites in the 3 countries that we host our guests in, which is Azerbaijan, Bahrain, and Sri Lanka. Okay, Rupak, I'll take your last question. Are there any upcoming festivals or events happening at a specific heritage location? Nothing as of now, Rupak. But yes, most of these heritage sites have their own festivals. Konark has its own festival. Hampi has a festival that happens in October. Right now, nothing specific happening anywhere. But yes, if you want to visit the Valley of Flowers, the season opens up in July. You can look for a good trek partner, and if you are fit, you can definitely go up and see the Valley of Flowers in Uttarakhand. Other than that, nothing else happening right now. And of course, the Gochala trek is always open for avid adventure enthusiasts, because it's a very, very tough trek and you have to be extremely fit to undertake that. Thank you so much, everybody. So nice of you to join, and I hope to catch you guys again. I'm sorry, my network is glitching. My Wi-Fi was glitching. So I'll catch you again in another session. Thank you so much for joining. Take care. Bye-bye.